Thank you so much again, dear representative of University of Katowice, University of Economics in Katowice, for inviting us here and letting us to be the part of this amazing event. And thank you very much. There are students to become here to find out yourself, the main self, let's say. And thanks the speakers for having a great speech that I have learned a lot as a PhD student from you. And actually my role, my responsibility here to ask you if you want, after having a speech of variety speakers, and if you want to become the business consultant as Professor Hubert, or member of the UNDP as Mrs. Anna, or as a professor to become a great researcher in your field, or to spend 30 years to find out your best passion to become a decision makers, researcher in disaster managing, or you want to become as a Brandon and to live in this luxury and fancy place in Vegas. So I bet that those who didn't make their mind about their future, it's a great question that to see the examples and to see yourself where you want to be and how you want to be. So actually, Professor Statish asked most of the questions that I was going to pose you, where you want to be in the future. And I pretty much know that 60% in this audience, they don't know where to go. And some of them, only few of them, they're confused. And few of them know they are determined where to go. It's a great question that because it will shape your future. It will shape your future, that how you're going to impact individually and to the society that you're living in, or to the society that you're going to believe in the future. And those questions can be very simple that Professor Statish asked you. Can be very simple for you to answer it now. No, I don't know, as many others, but if you go deep to these questions, it is really very hard questions that will shape your personality in the future. And I have another questions. I don't know the audience or the audience of Polish students. I mean, I don't know the Poland very well. If you're reading the books, do you read the books? Who read the books? I mean, not your yeah, only few. I can see only one. Yeah. Okay. So, you know, reading the books can help you to shape your future. How I did, like, have you ever read the book Robinson Crusoe by Daniel Defoe? Did you read it? Yeah? Okay, great. Oliver Twist by who? Okay. And I have read these two books, you know, when I was in the 7th grade. And then I read these books when I was at the university doing my bachelor degree. And I read this book when I was a mother of 2. You know, in all other stage of my life, I have learned different things from those books. One, okay, should we follow the passion of ourselves to go to this passion and to become the adventurers, or to hear our families, the parents' advice to follow their path? Do you remember Robinson Crusoe? Their family, they pushed him to stay in the same places that his family was living, and he was in a good condition, but he refused it. In the contrary, Oliver Twist was born in a very bad condition, and he fought with this condition. He didn't want to become the slaver of this condition. So I have a really good quote that is saying that the condition that you lived is not your conclusion. Condition is not your conclusion. So you can design your conclusion by yourself. So I'm a professor of management, and I'm teaching management for bachelor students and master students. And there are 4 main pillars of the management that we are teaching our students. What are these? Is the planning, organizing, designing, let's say, and leading it, and then controlling it. So the main questions I'm asking to my bachelor students at the first class that we have, it is related to their plans. You are a manager of your life right now. You are all the manager of your life right now. If you do the wrong planning, it's going to cause a lot of things. Like causing a lot of things can be seen by the example of Mr. Satish. He lost some years to find out his real passion. But it was not a loss. I can say that he learned a lot. He experienced a lot. But it was not him, you know. It was not him. But he was not doing the things that he had a passion and he had a love. That's related, kind of a synergy of his speech. So in the first class, I'm asking them, write a letter to your future in 5 years. As most of the professors do. And you know, we write the letter, like a very small letter, who wants to become in 5 years. And sometimes they leave it blank, and sometimes they have just a few words. Sometimes they say, I don't know. And it depends on the, vacancies that they will have in that time. Or they say that it depends on my family business. Too many things. And then I look at them and I ask them, what is of your purpose of being here? That it's asked by the boarders, you know. What is the purpose of your visit? So what is the purpose of your being in this institution? Unfortunately, some of them says that just to get the degree. And it is, can you imagine that this is the 50% of the audience in my classes that I'm teaching in Baku Business University. 50% they say that just to obtain the degree, and let's say 15% says that just with the pressure of their family parents, it's not good again. 5% say that I have a passion in management or in accountancy or in audit, in economics. And only few say that in Azerbaijan, we have a centralized examination center that students should pass a certain score to enter the universities. And you choose the universities and subject, your area, after gaining those scores. Maybe it's in Poland as well, which is, we hate actually. Their scores let them to become this, to enter this, the limitation was high and they had a low score, let's say, or it was only choice for them to become a manager or accountant. See, some of the audience, most of the main audience were not telling that I wanted to become a manager. When I was in a high school, that I told them yesterday that when I was in a high school, my school was the leader of our schools. She was an amazing lady, and she was doing a lot of things that I was involved in research. That I did a research in history. Doing a research was not my passion, but doing a research was my passion to do. I found something in research. And we had a national cooperation we had a national competition. We were going to the many schools in my country, in my region, that we were competing each other on how to protect the environment. I'm talking about like 18 years ago. We were doing some competition. This competition helped me to identify that how I can lead the team. And then we participated in competition like in math, in biology, and it helped me. We were creating some teams that helping us to increase our leadership skills. So I found that I have a leadership skills, I have a management skills, I have a research skills, and so how I can combine all of this in one job, in one career. So I found that the best fit is project management. I went through this. So anything you do, you have to have a reason. Without going blind to anything, that can result a lot of things. So I will come to one question that has been asked by your friends that in another session, that he asked that if artificial intelligence will replace the human being in future in the job places. And I would like to share one example that we witnessed in Stockholm, actually. It is really interesting for you, Brandon. And we stayed in one hotel. It was a non-human contact hotel. Because the visitors of this hotel was the business people, business visitors, and they arrived, at 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning, flying from a long distance, and they didn't want to spend time on the check desk and check in and having the key going to the room. So the hotel decided to have non-contact check-in, so we could check in online and come and enter the hotel with certain key codes, and then go to the room with key codes. And it was a Ibis-style hotel. It was fine for the business visitors. It was okay. The service was good. They were coming, cleaning the rooms, and we didn't see any human there, like any employee there. And 1 year later, we had to go to Stockholm again, and this university has a partnership with this with this hotel. They booked again this hotel. You know what? They changed the management system, so they had the people in the check desk and check-in. They were a human to check in the visitors, and we saw 2-3 people working there, in the front desk. You know the reason why? Can you guess the reason why? Well, very simple. The visitors were not happy with this non-contact check-in process. They wanted to discuss. They wanted to have an interaction with the human while they're checking. Maybe they have questions. Maybe they have some certain of issues that they want to choose it. So at that time, I was studying e-management. And it was one of the topics that I wanted to, my professor wanted me to check if the electronic system in hotels is okay or not. So I wrote an article about this, not an article, but a project about it. And it was really graded with A. And it was really great that I went to Stockholm and I saw this, how they changed the system, So the job requirements may change. The requirements in the job market may change, but it is still depend on you, depend on the human. And what I wanted to say that I studied in UK, and there I studied general management. And one of my professors from organizational behavior, he gave us a task. The task was about that we were a very international group. We had students from 14 different countries, and including US, including UK, including France, Germany, and many other states. And then he asked us we did a 1 year research, and the research was about that doing the survey in your country, in SMEs, to identify the reason behind the employee voice. Why employers are silent, or how the employee voice affect the performance of the company. And very interestingly, most of the companies depend on their economic development, and the results were really correlated with the economic development of the countries. And those countries are underdeveloped or developing countries like mine. We had those results that the employers are, in countries like mine, they are silent. Why? Because they are afraid of losing their jobs. If they will defend their positions, if they will increase their voices, they're afraid that they will lose their jobs. And those countries are leading the economy. They are the voices are higher than other countries. So it is like there in organizational behavior, it has been told to us that push your students, push yourself to ask the questions and to answer the questions. And what we felt from this audience, like in these 3 days, I can tell that the high school students are more question givers than askers than the university students. We had plenty of questions in these sessions rather than having questions in another sessions that we had an audience with the bachelor and master students. So it is a good sign really that you are asking the questions, and asking the questions is it helps you to determine yourself. So you are the main different things that this 60%, maybe this 60% that who said that I have no idea where to go, is just answering the question, but inside you are, I'm sure that you have some ideas where to go. But while asking the questions, you have to ask yourself, that not the others, not the parents, not the something. And when I studied in the secondary school, in the high school, at least until 2006, we didn't have electricity. I mean, I am from a normal family, that the family is a normal economic situation. And the part of the country that I am living is in a normal economic situation, was in a normal economic situation, but we were in a war situation, that we were blockaded. The country, the region that I was living didn't have any connection, the land connection with Azerbaijan. So, and we didn't have any advanced technology or advanced system that the energy can consume from Azerbaijan to the Nakhchivan city. So we had electricity shifting with shifts, like we had 2 hours electricity and then 2 hours no electricity and then 2 hours back. And we lived in this condition. And well, if you were not able to study in the candle, in the light of candle, it was not really easy to go to the class being ready to your classes. It was really worse condition. We didn't have a water because we were newly independent, and Azerbaijan gained its independence like as you do, as Lithuania did. But it was not really hard to study at that time. Did we stop? No, it didn't help us to stop. So condition can be changed. Condition can be, there is 2 things that you can never choose in your life. Do you know what are these? Can you tell me that 2 things that you cannot change? You? The things that the person are not able to change it. The parents that you have, the family that you born, the place that you've born. That this is not selected by you. But the rest of things are selected by you. So you have to have this power to change this. And while you're thinking about having an impact on economic development of your country, the many politicians in Azerbaijan are from Nakhchivan. We have a lot of doctors are from Nakhchivan, the place that we didn't have an electricity and water. Many economists of Azerbaijan are from that region. So we did change in our small region, and we affected the economic development of our country. So we can do this. While we are talking about the global citizenship, having an impact on as a global citizen in global issues, in SDGs, like, let's say. But first, we have to think about the region, the local community that we have. If we impact our local community, then we have definitely impact on global level as well. So I think that this is the end of my speech, and I'm really happy that meeting with high school students from your country, and I believe that somehow we were able to affect them to realize who they are and who they want to be. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Professor Gulshen Bayramova. Thank you for your speech, for your presentation. We've got some time for questions, Q&A session. So, do we have any questions? Okay.
Okay, thank you for your speech. It was really incredible. I just have one question. I'm from Ukraine, and you said that conditions can be changed. And okay, it's true, but we said that we can't, for example, change the place where we have born. And for me, it's like so important, for example, to help my country, and but I don't know how, because it's like really depends on, because now it is war in Ukraine, and we all know that. And what do you think about it? Like, if I want to help my country, but I really need to change conditions, I, for example, don't know what I can do with it. Like, I want to live in Ukraine, but now it's not connected with some things that I want to do.
Thank you very much for this question, and it's kind of a sad question. I know, I understand your position. We've been in this situation also, and we are in the region that we have the war again, and it was a really near future that we had the war. And we don't know what's going to happen in next week or next month. And I totally understand your point, but it is like if you're studying well, if you're developing your personal life, it is like you are helping your country. Even you are in another country, that lobbying, I'm not sure how the war gonna end, when the war gonna end. But imagine that your country is destroyed, yes, and it is not, the Kiev is not the same Kiev, or Kharkov is not the same Kharkov. And it needs a lot of contribution of its citizens to make the country to go back the same it was before the war, yeah? And you are studying economy, and somebody is studying policy. It is not in your hands to stop the war right now. It's not the hands on your politicians and not the leaders of the world. You cannot do anything related to that. But in the future, when you will win the war, or I mean, when you will go back to your country, when you will be able to go there, you'll have to think about that, the little projects, how you can affect the development of your country to make it, to survive from this war, you know? And it is like there is nothing can be told right now about how, but during the process you have to think how. Like in Azerbaijan, we're doing like I am leading some projects at the student levels, social entrepreneurship. And this is a social entrepreneurship. I would love to talk about it, but we have a limited time. How we do with the social entrepreneurship. Students are not socially responsible, and they have a chance to help the people in the regions, in the rural areas. I mean, but they cannot realize it. We help them to realize that social entrepreneurship doesn't require any investment, doesn't require any money, any payment. Those are the volunteers who want to change their regions, their economy, their systems with the social activities. So right now, as a student, the main thing can be you can do the social activities, social projects to help your community in Ukraine or from the Ukraine. You can come together with the students. I know that you have a lot of Ukrainians studying in this university and in Poland. You can come up with ideas that how still you can help those are in Ukraine. You know, by sending the gifts, like you can help them motivationally to come over this kind of situation. But I believe that if you are caring about this, I believe that in future you will be able to help your country. Maybe you have something to add it? It was a nice question. Thank you so much.